I hope things have been well. I haven't been able to do this in a while. I just thought it'd be kind of fun to do on occasion. So we're going to do a practice live game, but also kind of give random updates on what's been going on for anyone who's interested in this part. So basically, Spider Man came out a couple weeks ago, and it seems like a lot of people aren't the biggest fan of the sets. I like it. Not enough to disagree with any of the thing people are saying, but I overall like some of the cards and what they do, and there's a couple big rares that I haven't really been able to pull yet. I did pull the Soul Stone in the box opening, and you all can see that in my blank reaction. You guys would probably laugh at that. I actually sold it right away. Some people are questioning that. Some people are really happy about that because they're kind of saying, oh, but the price is going to go up. The price is going to go up. I don't know. To be honest, I don't know how long that card's going to last. It's a good card, but there's so many cards that do the similar things that it does. So like I just, if I get it, I'll sell it. Which reminds me, we did finally, and I'm excited to say, we upgraded to TCG Pro. So that sort of means a handful of things, but like the way I'll just kind of brag about it for now is it's almost as if we officially opened up our own online site. Still with TCG, of course. A lot of game stores do that too, so that's pretty normal. But again, you could always find us by Googling TCG Find Seller and then look up Deck Doctor and see what we got. I did some restocking recently. Some more Spider-Man cards are up in case there is one or two singles that you want from the set. We also have a lot of commons and uncommons. We did update it so that way the prices are a little more matching that of a game store now, since we do have the credit for that. So just a heads up. So like you want or you don't, I totally get it. And yeah, so like that's pretty much Magic stuff, I think. We played some good Commander decks recently, or Commander games recently. I'll tell you probably a bit about that while we do the thing, or just now or later. But I thought it would be fun to do this again. As you all probably saw, we're doing live streaming more often. So like if you want to just peek or see a little bit, see what me and my couple friends are playing. We are hoping to add another person soon, but of course it's a time for a lot of people where Magic is kind of the last thing on their mind, but it's okay. We're going to like bring people back and all that. But yeah, no, with that, we were going to do kind of like a quick like scenario game where we just kind of play test some decks and see, okay, like what would you do if like people do get on this video during the chat? We'll kind of like talk about, okay, what would you do then and all that. It'll be like a scenario live stream game and kind of share what my thoughts are in the scenario questions, but also just kind of like a walkthrough of some things that people who are probably just starting Magic or newer to Magic could also consider, because with Commander, what a lot of people don't know is there's a lot of written strategies and unwritten strategies that can come a long way. So with that, yeah, we're going to kind of do the first thing. So like I always say, the first thing is threat assessment. Like what a lot of people don't always like, but is something to take into consideration, is realistically, the threat assessment starts as soon as you take your commanders out. Because people are going to be wondering, oh, who should I hit first? Who should I be concerned about? Especially if it's with a play group that you've never played with before. If it was a play group that you have played with before, then likely they're going to say, oh, well, I know this person's deck, and it's either just as scary or not as scary as people think when they first see the commander. But people are always going to naturally look at the commander and be like, okay, what kind of threat are we looking at here? So like, for example, these are the commanders we're using in the demo today. So the first one is Loot the Key to Everything. It's a card that some people know about and some people never saw before. Because again, with commander players, you have the ones like me who do a lot of limited and commander, so I kind of got a feel for the cards that are coming out. And there are some who, if it's not like the go-to or one of the go-to commanders that people build, they're like, what is that? And loot is something that some CEDH commanders talked about on occasion, but had mixed feelings about when it first came out as a commander. But it can be very useful because it's a 3-drop commander reward 1. It's only a 1/2, but At the beginning of your upkeep, for each other non-land permanent with different card types on it, so like enchantment, creature, artifact, so on and so forth, you exile that many top cards from your library, and until the end of turn, you could play those cards. So that's what loot does. So you'll kind of get a feel for the theme soon, because sometimes there's a theme, sometimes people do it to dig, but there's a few themes that I added into that particular commander. The next one is another less known one, and I'll tell you a funny story about this. Like, this is actually one of my favorite decks. Actually, I shouldn't say that. They're all my favorite, but one of the reasons why I really love playing this one is because it's one of the ones where people read it and then they're like, okay, not bad, but not great. And then they lose to it because it does a lot of things that people don't think about. Because the ability is, for those of you who aren't able to read it yet, was when this or another creature dies, return a creature card from your graveyard with less toughness from your graveyard back to your hand. And at first they're like, oh, okay, I see you, but do they? And the answer is normally no, because there's a lot of fun ways to build decks like that people don't always notice because it's not as obvious. Like, I'll give a funny example. Sometimes in Commander, it's also about thinking outside the box. Like, for example, last night, there was this really funny game where I was playing against someone who was playing a life gain deck. They were literally at like 90, somewhere between 90 to 100 life. And I had a Tree of Perdition. And everyone's like, use it on him. But that actually wouldn't have been completely smart. The reason why is because it's a life gain deck. He's going to go back anyway. So the cool trick I did was I kind of put him in a tough spot because he was playing the commander that whenever anyone casts a spell, they lose 2 life. So when the player wanted to politic with me saying, hey, can I hit you to get these triggers? I said, actually, you should hit the guy at 11 life. And I'll explain why in a second. And the guy who was 11 life was the guy who was like, use the tree. And I was like, hold on. Timing matters. So if he hits you, I could show you what I'm talking about. And he could kind of see it in a way where, and he didn't know what I was going to do. And then he was like, okay, I trust you. So he brought his life down to 2. And I said, okay, at the end of turn, I'm going to tap Tree of Perdition, make your life total 13, and Tree of Perdition's toughness 2. Because again, it doesn't make the life total 13. It exchanges the life total and the toughness. So there's a lot of cool ways. Like, in some ways, you could always target the person with the lowest life and then do some crazy stuff like I did. Because it became a 0-2, and then I tapped it, and he became like a 0-90 something while the guy's life total is 2. The game had to end in a tie, though, because the game store closed, and they had to be like, hey, guys, that's past turn 0. You got to go. Okay, fine. Which is understandable. And yeah, so like things like that. So sometimes it's also about thinking outside the box. That's actually part of the pro, why my friends always taught me, saying that's the pro and con of using a popular commander. If you use a popular commander, people are naturally going to look at you and be like, oh, I heard of that guy. He's dangerous. I got to keep an eye on you. But if you use a less popular commander, then sometimes that gives you the advantage of not having people immediately look at you and be like, oh my gosh, I need to do something about this, blah, 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 blah. So yeah, with that, the next commander, perfect example, Ishin. A lot of people know Ishin, and so that's why sometimes Ishin, it's not as popular as it used to be when it first came out. Everyone knew about it. Now sometimes people hear about it, some people don't. But it's a double attack trigger deck. So whenever a permanent you control is triggered by attacking, or something that involves attacking, it triggers an extra time. So there's definitely going to be some violence in this game. Then we got Nekuzar. Nekuzar is whenever a player draws a card, they're going to take 1. And people draw 2 cards every turn. Now, this is where the difference between people just starting Magic and someone who's been playing for a while will kind of have a different opinion. Because someone who played Magic for a while would read that and go, oh, I know what you're doing. Usually they'll assume it's some form of wheeling, which is based off of the card. That phrase is based off of the card Wheel of Fortune, which is you discard your hand and draw 7. And that's where Nekuzar's ability comes in, where where each opponent will take 1 damage for every card you've drawn. So that's why with Nekuzar, people who've played the game before would see that and be like, oh my gosh, it's Nekuzar. They're going to wheel and like give it lifelink or give it infect and all that, blah, 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 blah. But some people who are just starting the game tend to look at Nekuzar and be like, oh, that actually seems kind of fun. I like drawing extra cards. I actually used to, believe it or not, I had an internship that involved playing Magic, and I used to bring that deck to the internship, and it was an internship that involved teaching younger players how to play Magic at this camp. And Nekuzar was a perfect example because all of the campers would go like, "Oh, that's actually a lot of fun. I like drawing extra cards." And I'm like, "Oh, kid, you are going to learn a lesson in Magic today." And it was pretty hilarious. So that's a little bit about how sometimes the threat assessment off of commanders already starts. So, gonna start a hypothetical game, and if people have any like opinion on that, like definitely put in the live chat. So the first thing is this person's just gonna play a tap land and pass. We're gonna start with the loot key to everything deck. Then we go over here. It's gonna start kind of slow because of course it just started. He's gonna play this land tapped and pass. Ishin, he's going to play a tapped tri-land, say go. Then just a couple rounds around here. I think Nekuzar is going to play a fetch land and crack for a tri-land. Let me grab that really quickly. Oh, there's the tri-land, shuffle. So he's going to shuffle just a couple times really quickly just to say he did it. Then it'll go back to Loot's turn. Untap draw. He's going to play a mountain and then say go. So this is where it's going to start a little bit. So draw. He's going to play a plains, and for 2, he's going to play the Oath Swarm. So the creature's already started, so guards are about to go up. So untap, draw. Oop, upside down. He's going to play a swamp, and for 2, actually, no, that's probably not a good idea. He has a card where it's not worth playing, so I think playing the tap land would be a better idea. So untap and draw, so he's going to play an island, and then pass, draw. This player is going to play a land that doesn't enter tapped, and then for 3 plays commander. So now this guy has some stuff going. So of course players are going to be like, okay, what does this mean? So now it's going to go to his turn again, untap draw. So this one is going to play enters available tap unless you control swamp. Oh, okay, so he's going to play a swamp. Then he's going to pass the well, actually no. So like this, what a lot of people in commanders sometimes forget if they're newer or just not used to it is combat's still important. I know there's stories about how like there's CEDH and you don't need to attack in CEDH, but that's actually kind of the opposite. Like some CEDH games, like the deck's all about attacking. So you both got to be prepared and be willing to attack if needed. So like for example, he's tended to attack Ishin, but this guy already has commander out. So I think it's debatable, but I think in this case, especially since he's tapped out, so that way people have less of a reason to respond. He's going to go 2 minutes his way. He's going to take 2, go down to 38. And then the ability happens, so he's going to play a card with, he's going to get this 1/1 counter and then pass the turn. And it's going to be his turn, and tap draw. He's going to play a land. Now, I'm going to tell you one thing about Ishin. With Ishin, it's actually good to bring out the things with the attack triggers first. Because think about it. If I were to play Ishin first, and it would go around and go back to him, Ishin will be the one attacking. But if I play the creature that attacks first, go around, and then play Ishin, the creature could attack and then double the trigger. That's something some people forget. So then I'm going to draw. I'm going to play a mountain, and unfortunately pass the turn. So then it'll go to Luke's turn. He has a land that doesn't enter tapped, which is good. He's going to, for 2, play a Signet. That's all he could do, so he's going to pass. On the end step, the tree deck is going to flash in the Anafenza from the newer Tarkir set. So then go to turn. Play a land that doesn't enter tapped. He's still missing a green, so that's going to give him a disadvantage. He was hoping to draw a green by now. So this is where he's thinking, okay, who should I go at? Because that is pretty scary. So he doesn't want that coming at him. But at the same time, this is only a 2/3. But why would he attack just to all that? So I think he's going to keep this as a blocker. Now, he could go at that player again, but there's a term that a lot of you may have heard or used called archenemy. It's when you like noticeably become the biggest threat to where everyone has a reason to come at you only and not other players. But what a lot of people don't know is in Commander, there's also time where personal grudges are created. So like, for example, let's say I targeted this guy all game. It doesn't matter what these two are doing. He's going to have a grudge against me. And in some ways that sounds immature, but that's actually pretty understandable. The reason why is because even if, let's say, it's true and this guy's going to start winning, this guy, in his perspective, he's like, but this guy is the one who's been hitting me directly. That guy's been hitting all that. So I can't do anything with this guy. So to avoid that way of thinking, it's usually good to, in the beginning, if you can, spread it out a little bit. Be like, oh, like I attacked you last turn, so I'm going to go 2 at the Nekuzar player while they're open. And the Nekuzar player's like, fine, take 2. He's got nothing. Well, I guess he could play this. He's going to play an Ashnod's Altar, just in case it matters later. But yeah, the thing that sucks for this player is he has a bunch of green cards in his hand, and he didn't draw a green source yet. So untap, draw. And this is what I was talking about. So lands, and he's going to pay the extra with Opal Palace. So he plays his commander, comes in with a counter. He's going to go to combat. He's going to read the card so he remembers what it does. Lol. So when he attacks the player with the most life or tied with the next life, attacks while you have the most life or tied for the most life, you draw a card and lose life. So I think this is what he's going to do. He's going to attack that player. Triggers twice. The first trigger, he's tied for the most life, so he's going to lose a life, draw a card. It's not attacking the player with the most life. So I think now it's just a 2/4 death touch. This player's going to take it because he doesn't want to lose his commander yet. And so what did he draw? Nothing that he could play, so he's just going to pass the turn. So it's going to go over to Nekuzar's turn, draw. He's going to play a land that doesn't enter tapped, and then for 2 black and 2, you guessed it, he's going to play Shieldred. And Shieldred's one of those cards that would get everyone looking there like, he played Shieldred, he played Shieldred. Because now with Shieldred, every time an opponent draws a card, they take 2, while anytime he draws a card, he gains 2. So obviously that's a huge red flag, and so players are definitely going to keep that in mind. So untap, upkeep, the ability happens, so he's going to exile the top card, and then draw for turn. Because he drew for turn, he's going to lose 2, go down to 34. He's going to play a Exotic Orchard as his land for turn. He has 6 mana available. I think here's what he's going to do. He's going to pay, he's going to float a green for the next thing. So floating a green, but most importantly, 3 red. He's going to play a card from Aether Drift called Count on Lurk. And he's going to use the floating in 1 blue to cast what he had from exile, which is Silent Arbor. The great thing about that is now he has an artifact, creature, and enchantment. So now he could exile the top 3 to dig for things. There's not really anyone open enough to where he could attack, so he's just going to pass the turn. So now, this is where sometimes people, because of how gross Shieldred is, and maybe their gross experience with Shieldred, are like, oh my gosh, I need to attack this guy. So draw for turn, lose 2. He did draw something he needed, which is good. It's a green land that doesn't enter tapped. And for 5, he's going to play the gross Beller, Kin to All. I actually put a lot of cards from... what I've been really lucky with, I don't know what it is, but I build decks that people don't think of, and ironically, future sets end up being those decks, which is kind of funny. So he has a good defender, so like attack isn't a big concern. So I think he will say, you know what? You're playing Shieldred. I'm going to attack you for 3 menace. So he's like, okay, I take the 3, trigger, he goes up again. And I think go to end step, 10 or greater, 20 or greater. I don't think we're there yet because, yeah, so end of turn, I do have enough toughness, so I draw an extra card. Lucky me. So now, in a way, both of them are big threats because that is also a card that's no joke. So, time for the Isshin player. Untap, draw, lose 2. He's going to play a land, and for 5, He's going to play... Ooh, that's actually even better. How much? He's going to play Mana Geyser. This used to be such a classic commander card. Some people probably forgot about it, but it gives a red mana for every tapped land opponents control. And because in commander there's a lot of opponents, that's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So now he has 13 red mana floating. It's a good card people forgot about. Bless me. Okay, so 13 red mana floating. He's going to use... Oh yeah, this is gross. He's going to use 6 of it, go down to 7 for Inferno Titan. When it enters, he can divide 3 damage however he wants, so I think he's going to do 1 there and poo-poo 2 there. So, doesn't get the die trigger because nothing other than it died, and this dies, which actually gives a little handicap to this guy, but not so much, but he is pretty open. Excuse me. And then the other thing he's going to do for 5 of the rest of it is he's going to play Goldspan Dragon. So yeah, this guy is all of a sudden become really gross. And then with the last 2 floating, he's going to play Horn of the Mark, which is a card that lets him do stuff if he attacks with enough things. So now he's going to go to combat. And the question is, who's he going to attack? What are life totals? Because it's relevant with this card. He's not at the highest. And at the same time, though, if he attacks and that person decides to block, he's going to lose up his dragon. So this is something that beginners think versus what people who've been playing for a while might think. So beginners would probably think, I don't want to attack that. He could kill my guy. He could, but this is something my buddy taught me when I was first getting into more stronger level Magic. He's like, listen, think about it. If you were that guy, would you block? And I'd be like, no, I want to keep it. So just go at him. He's not going to block. He'll lose a big thing. That's not smart. And I'm like, oh, you're right. So this is what I would do. So go to combat, the Death Touch this way, and the 4 in the air this way. So now the attack triggers. So the first attack trigger is I get 2 treasures that can basically sack for 2 each as long as this guy's out. So let me grab the dice for that. So he has 2 treasures. This attack trigger. So the first one, player with the most life, create a 1 white. So he's going to get a 1/1 lifelink token, which I know I have somewhere, but I'm just going to use this for now because I know it's deep in the pot, but I want to keep you guys hanging. Then the second one happens again. They still have the most life. So he's going to get another one. So he gets 2 tokens off of that. Pretty nice. So now we go to damage. Obviously, as predicted, the guy's like, I don't want to lose this. I'll just take 2. Go to 36. At least now he can't get tokens. And then, of course, the Shieldred player is going to have to take it and then go to 30. And second main, again, because the treasures could sack for 2, he's going to go ahead and play the Embered Captain, which when it enters, he becomes the Monarch. I'll grab the Monarch in a bit, or I might just use it because I think it's deep in there. Which is, for those of you who don't know what Monarch is, basically anyone who's the Monarch at the end of their turn gets to draw a card. But if you get hit with combat damage by another player, they become the Monarch. But the great thing about this card, the reason why it's an Isshin, is if someone attacks me while I'm the Monarch, they take damage equal to the amount of cards in their hand. And because I have my commander, that's multiplied by 2, so that makes people hesitate to want to take the Monarch from me. So I'll go to the end step. I'm the Monarch, so I get to draw a card. So now it'll go, which means I lose another 2. So I go down to 35. Then it's the Shieldred player's turn. Draw, gain 2. Go to 32. No, play land for turn, and then for 5, he is going to play his commander. So now, people have to draw 2 cards a turn, which means they're going to lose 6 life every turn, because 2 for each card for that, 1 for each card with that. He's going to pass because he doesn't want to attack and then become super open. But again, it's the Isshin player who's kind of the biggest threat right now, in my opinion. But that's pretty scary. So untap, upkeep. He's going to exile 2 cards from his commander and 1 because of... That's what this card does. Beginning your upkeep, exile a top card you can play till end of turn. So these are all cards you can play till end of turn. Oh wow, 3 lands. He's going to draw 2. He's going to take 6. Go down to 28. See? That's pretty scary. He's going to play, he only has one basic land, so I guess he's going to play, this is land for turn. These are going to stay exiled. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. He's going to gamble. He's going to play the Mind's Dilation. That's another card that can be a threat, but people have different experiences with. He's going to gamble. So whenever a player casts their first spell each turn, they exile a top card. If it's a non-land card, then basically he could cast it without paying mana. So now it's on to this player's turn. He's going to untap, draw 3, lose 6, go to 30. Uh-oh. 1, 2. He's going to play a land for turn. And then for 6, he's going to go ahead and play his commander. Trigger, exile top. It's just a land, so it just stays exiled. He doesn't really want to attack anybody, so he's going... Wait, let's actually do the math, because this says if toughness is 10 or greater, draw a card, check. Then if your toughness is 20 or greater, he can't make this big enough where it'll add up to 20 yet. So yeah, he's going to stick to the plan and just pass. So then it's going to untap and draw. Draw 2, lose 6 life, go to 29. So that's a concern for this player. He doesn't like it. He also has plenty of cards in his hand that lets him draw more cards, but he doesn't like that. So obviously, he thinks Sheoldred's the biggest threat. Literally every card in his hand right now says you draw cards. He doesn't like that. So he's going to go to combat. He's going to have the Death Touch, the Flying, and the Inferno Titan all go at this player's way because he's upset. So the first two triggers. Oh, actually, this is really good. So first two triggers. He's going to, this guy does have the highest life, so he's going to make 2 more of the lifelink tokens. Good for blocking. This trigger happens. He's going to make 2 more treasures. I don't know why I moved the treasures over here. I'm going to make them a lot. So he makes 2 treasures. Now this happens twice, so he could deal 6 damage divided however we want. He's going to kill the Sheoldred. Forget you. And then he's going to deal 1 to him. So 31. And now he has all of these going his way. He's not going to block, so he's going to take 10, 12, go to 19. Because Isshin is like, dude, you're literally making me hurt by playing my deck. So he's going to pass. Because any card he has in his hand will kind of make it to where he's going to have to draw more cards, and that will hurt him. So he's going to untap, draw 2, and not take the damage, because it's his commander. So what he's going to do right now is he's going to, he only has tap lands in his hand, which is kind of sad, but tap lands, he has 5 mana available. Oh, this is going to be rude. For 2, he's going to play a newer card called the Needlehead. So now, whenever someone draws a card, they take another one. Oh, trigger. So, just a land, so it's exiled. That's part of the reason why people have mixed feelings about Mind Dilation. Like, if they take a good card, people are like, oh, that card is nasty. But if they just keep exiling land, it's like, wow, I guess that card isn't as good as it looks. But then what he's going to do is, for 2, give Nekuzar Infect. So now whenever he deals damage, people are going to take damage in the form. I mean, he's probably going to die soon anyway. Normally, it's not a good idea because it does make you a target. But then he's going to play Burning Ink Relief for 3. So that means all players draw 3 and then discard 3 at random. But because they have Infect, they each are going to get 5 Infect counters. 3 Infect counters. It'll get to 5 pretty soon. So they all have 3 Infect counters. And normally this isn't a good idea because people are going to be like, oh my gosh, this player just basically said, please take me out. But he's like, you know what? I can't really do much anyway, and you guys are mad, so like I might as well scare you a little bit. So they're going to, and I am shuffling and not looking, I promise. So discard 3 at random. Draw 3, discard 3 at random, which means they get 3 damage and the 3 infect. 3 damage from Needlehead, 3 infect from Nekuzar. Ooh, that was a big hit. That actually does somewhat help this player because he loves graveyards. So putting things in his graveyard does kind of help. So 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. He lost Marin, an Elf, and an Arcane Signet. So now the question is, yeah, he's like, forget it. I'm dead anyway. I'm going to go 2 infect there. He doesn't want to lose his commander, so he's going to go to 5 infect. which is pretty sad. So untap, upkeep, exile the top 2. 1, 2, draw for turn. Those aren't super helpful, so what he's going to do is he's going to play a land for turn, and for 5, he's going to play, well, 5 for this, 5 for that. Look at the top. Oh, yeah, that's a problem. People are going to target him now. Shoot. So this is going to be exiled, and he's going to pass the turn. Yeah, there's going to be a few targets here. So untap, draw. Draw 2, take 2 damage into infect, go to 5 infect and 25. So what's he going to do? He's going to play a land, and then for 7, he's going to play Protein Hulk. He's going to sack Protein Hulk, get 2 mana floating. Trigger. So he has, I'll just track it like this. He has 2 mana floating, trigger. I guess the first trigger he'll do is the commander trigger. He's going to put Marin back into his hand. Then he's going to search for some stuff. What does he have? He has a Spore Frog. That's 1. Oh, yeah, that's a good one. As a matter of fact, that might help him win the game. I think I know what he wants. Yeah, I think he might win the game soon. That might be better. Oh, wait, no, he doesn't need it. Okay, so he's going to look 1, 4, 5, and have this come in as a 1 for 0. I'll explain why soon. So, comes in, this dies. That comes in, the Ruthless Tracker, so its ability happens. He could sack a permanent and get that many treasures. So he's going to sack this and get 4 treasures. Because its power is 4. I believe it's by power. I know I put all these Spider-Man cards aside because I got a bunch of treasures from them. Where's my treasures? Are you guys my treasures? Yeah, there's some treasures. So he's going to get 4 treasures because 4 treasures of the power. This is where it's going to get really nasty and he might just win the game. So he has 2 colors floating and 4 treasures. He's going to use the 2 colorless floating and for 2 play Tessa. So whenever something dies, it has a second die trigger. And I actually won the game this way the other day. This is a cool combo that I showed in a previous video from a while back. He's then going to sacrifice a card. Let's just say he sacrifices the Pilgrim to Ashnod's Altar. 2 mana. I should probably just keep these dice out. Well, I mean, when did he cast his first? I missed a trigger, but it probably wouldn't matter. So he's going to float to trigger. He's going to get this Hydra. Using the 2, 4. Well, actually, yeah, using the 2 and 4. So for 3, he's going to play the Hydra. It's going to come in with 3 counters. Then what's going to happen is he's going to sacrifice this for 4 mana. And then this is going to trigger twice. He's going to bring back just 2 random creatures that are small enough. He doesn't have any treasures yet. He's then going to sacrifice this, get 2 floating colorless. And this die trigger happens twice. So he's going to get 6 treasures. And this is where the win con is about to come in. So he gets 6 treasures. And he's not drawing, so he gets around Nekuzar. So he's going to get 6 treasures. He has 6 colors floating. And off the 2 die triggers, it had 3. So he's going to bring back the last 2 small enough stuff from his graveyard. Then what's going to happen is with the 2 treasures, so he's going to go down to 4 treasures, he's going to play Cruel Celebrant with 1 floating, so 5, Actually, no, he doesn't need to do that. So what he's going to do next is use the 6, 10, so x of 9. Oh, wait, no, he's not there yet. Sorry. So, yeah, he has 10 there. What he's going to do is he's going to use one of the treasures, play Elvish Mystic, sack the Elvish Mystic, trigger, everyone takes 1, he gains 1, and the other die trigger happens. He only needs the first one to bring back the Hydra. So then he's going to sack for 3, 9, play it for an X of 8. And basically he's going to sack it and get 18. Everyone takes 1. So the cycle, and he could also even bring back Protein Hulk since it's big enough now. So it's a combo where you basically just keep play, sack, put back to hand, play, sack, put back to hand. And basically do it in a way to where you just continue and do it to where so like you could do any combo like this, but yeah, so that's the trick. There's many ways to do this combo. Like I even did it to where I kept using this to make more treasures to keep playing stuff. So you need something that makes treasures when it dies or enters, something that drains people, and you need the commander just to put the treasure makers back to your hand just to keep going. So that's sort of an infinite combo that goes with this deck where I basically sack the Hydra or something that makes treasures, make double those treasures if I have Teysa out. So Teysa makes it faster. Everyone takes 1 after that, and if they don't have a response in the right timing, they lose. But it's hard for them even if they did, because Ashnod's Altar, I could just respond to their response and keep digging. So yeah, that's a walkthrough of a game. And that's sort of a cool infinite combo I discovered once on one of our live streams where my buddies were playing, and I'm like, wait, sack, make treasures, you each take 1. And I actually won a game last Saturday with that, so it's a pretty good combo. But yeah, no, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the quick walkthrough. If not, feel free to watch the video later. I'll title it saying, hey, yeah, this ends in an infinite combo, in case any of you want to check it out. Have a good one.